welcome to the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. From paradise on Oahu, two teams that have a long photo album of memories, of history, of whack days back in the past. Coaches who know each other very well and recruit the same ground. BYU and Hawaii today from Aloha Stadium. Thank you for joining us. Happy Christmas Eve to you. If you're celebrating, Jason Benetti, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick downstairs. When Nick Rolovich was hired as the head coach at Hawaii, he mentioned his game against BYU in 2001 as one of his fondest memories. This means a lot today.
It is, and this is a rivalry I think we knew a little bit about, but until you get here and you talk to people, you don't really understand. I mean, the influence of BYU and the Islands has been huge. I had people come to me and say, my two favorite teams. What am I going to do? I'm stressed out about this. There's been tension all week here.
And there are other people who say, I only like one of them, and the other one go away. BYU, interesting season for the Cougars. Let's catch you up if you haven't seen them this year. 2 wins against Pac-12 teams for Hawaii. BYU got a win against USC and Tennessee. Tyson Williams injured, Zach Wilson injured. That's a problem. Jared Hall then takes over the starting reins, the first African-American quarterback to start at BYU, and then Baylor Romney comes in. They had so many different quarterbacks this year. Romney comes in, gets the win against Boise State. Wilson is back from injury, and that's good news for BYU.
But listen, make no mistake about it. A lot of BYU people look at Zach Wilson and say he's the next great one. You know, the Steve Young kind of guy. That's the kind of physical attributes he has. Tall, big arm, but he's had injuries this year, a shoulder, a thumb, and so he's trying to get back to the level where he was. But when he played healthy, he was fantastic in that bowl game last year, nearly perfect. They look for that tonight.
That was in Boise. Better weather here today. You talk about the BYU quarterback lineage. With Hawaii, there are some big names as well who have come through and done that here. This is a big offense.
Yeah, it's a huge offense, but when you think about playing here, this is an emotional place for the Hawaii team. They do a good job of, you know, as the late, great Dick Tomey, who coach here, used to tell me, be hospitable, show them the sights, get them to the beach, and then bring them into the stadium and unleash the emotional fury on them.
You don't see the emotional fury in this. It looks so fun and nice, but they can really hurt you offensively this year. Hawaii with 2 wins against Pac-12 opponents. Arizona took a header here, then Oregon State. Historic wins against Nevada and New Mexico. Huge, mammoth offense in those games. They win 5 of their final 6, go to their first ever Mountain West Championship game. They lose in the Mountain West Championship game, as so many have in Boise, Idaho. But there's a lot to play for here today for Hawaii in terms of this offense. Their quarterback, Cole McDonald.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about a run-and-shoot offense. That identity is associated with Hawaii. And Cole McDonald conjures up the great quarterbacks who played in that kind of an offense. Timmy Chang here, Colt Brennan, and this is a guy who has a chance to do something those guys did. I mean, 3,000 yards passing multiple times.
And the guy who gets to enjoy it all from field level all day long is Quint Kesnick. Hi, Quint.
Hi, aloha, Jason and Rod. It's 84 and sunny down here. Feels like 95 in the sun on the far side where BYU bakes. And this Hawaii Rainbows team with their run and shoot, man, they toss the ball around. They've got 3 receivers with 80 or more receptions. Cedric Bird is their leading target. He's got 95 catches, 10 touchdowns, and he's good for about 80 yards per game. He's been battling back spasms during bowl prep, and they're not sure if he's going to make it through this game. If he doesn't play, that's a significant hit to the run and shoot offense. They'll also be playing without cornerback Rogesterman Farris, their best corner, out for academics.
That's big news. Above the fold news for Hawaii's defense, which has struggled. Obviously, the offense is ahead of the defense on this team.
I just know this is a fun offense to watch.
Off we go from the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. And Lincoln Victor on the return to the 28-yard line. Cole McDonald, junior quarterback, has adopted Hawaii as a home after growing up in La Mirada, California. Here's a young man who hasn't had the starting job in every moment this year, but he has put up huge numbers wearing those dreadlocks in honor of former Hawaii quarterback Brian Moniz.
Yeah, it's an interesting look. You know, you're talking about somebody who showed up in Hawaii with a crew cut, and now he's got the blonde dreads. shows the growth and change that can happen in college, right?
Yeah, the curiosity, that Magellan sort of feel that Nick Rolovich has talked about, the Magellan instinct of folks who come here, as McDonald will throw on first down, and it's Miles Reed out of the backfield cutting to the 32-yard line, the sophomore out of Corona, California, who they describe as having contact courage. Reed, but look, Cole McDonald, even though he's not been the quarterback for every snap, has put up mammoth numbers.
Yeah, and I think he's a guy, at least in my view, who's kind of seeking redemption. Didn't have a great bowl game last year and has had a terrific season and looking to make up from last year's bowl game with a big performance tonight.
That is a story we'll follow throughout the game, whether or not Chevin Cordero, his backup, gets to see time in this game, as Reed has a carry to the 35, and it's third down and short.
And McDonald is a big quarterback. He's a tall guy, 6'4", 220 plus pounds, a big arm, likes to get the ball down the field. Much better throwing the ball in the middle of the field than on the perimeter outside the hashes. And to get him off to a good start, you try to make sure you get him a good throw inside the hashes down the field.
A lot of what you just described also fits for Nick Rolovich, who played quarterback here at Hawaii, as that is incomplete to the outside, and they'll set up fourth down as Jared Smart was the target, but BYU gets to bring it out.
Yeah, well, the run and shoot, the receiver and the quarterback are reading the defensive coverage at the same time. And if they aren't on the same page, you get a throw like that.
You don't expect this Hawaii offense will scuffle all game long, at 32nd in scoring offense in the FBS, but Kalani Sitake's pass defense has been top 35 as well, as Stan Gaudian punts it, and a fair catch for Aleva Hifo. So for BYU, Zach Wilson, the starting quarterback, and we give you our keys to the game, brought to you by Dollar General.
Happy holidays from Hawaii and Airlines.
Well, when you think about Hawaii, we talked about their big passing attack. It is fantastic, but they lead the nation in turnovers. Got to take care of the ball. BYU is at their best when they run to the edge and they throw the ball well. And throwing it well means Zach Wilson needs to have a big game, and he is fully capable of that. As I mentioned before, he had a great bowl game last year.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about 18 for 18 against Western Michigan to start in Boise State. Derek Thomas gets stopped to set up second down. But Zach Wilson, sophomore out of Draper, Utah, he grew up a huge Utah Utes fan. I mean, they had seats at the 50-yard line. His family did in Salt Lake City, and now he's wearing royal blue.
You talk about the connection. His dad was born in Hawaii. He was offered a scholarship to Hawaii. There's a connection all the way around there.
Yeah, so Dad, I'm sure, isn't terribly conflicted, though he's got a heart for the islands, as third down is coming up as Wilson misfires.
Well, didn't Wilson tell us that he hated BYU when he was in college? His dad played at Utah, and he lived, 40 miles away from BYU, and that was the enemy. And now here he is, the star quarterback, the next guy for BYU.
It almost shocks you when you're sitting across the table from the BYU quarterback and he says, yeah, I grew up loving Utah, because that's just not allowed in the wars they've had, whether in conference or out of conference, whatever it might be. They go empty with 5 wide. Free runner, and Wilson throws it incomplete. He wanted the tight end, very talented Matt Bushman, the junior, with a pressure coming from Thomas, who had a very nice series.
Well, Hawaii wants to pressure, emotional, get yourself going. When you get an empty formation, only 5 blockers. And so the ball's got to come out fast. Hawaii wants to take advantage of that and put the pressure on Wilson, affect him. Remember, Wilson hasn't played an awful lot because of the injuries this year, the shoulder, the thumb, and getting into that perfect timing, might take some time. So you want to get after him a little bit if you're Hawaii.
Jake Oldroyd to punt for BYU. They've had kicker roulette recently as JoJo Ward lets it bounce and roll. The ball's chasing him, and it's inside the 20-yard line. So first down, Hawaii. When we come back after a 56-yard punt, take in the sunshine. Enjoy it with us, folks. 30-second meeting, BYU and Hawaii, and our impact players brought to you by Lexus, Ron.
Yeah, Cedric Bird, we talked about him getting healthy enough, hopefully, to go and be good enough today. And then the linebacker, Matau Tia, is outstanding for Hawaii. Katoa is the running back that we'll see a lot of. And Tonga, the man in the middle for the BYU defense, better take care of him because he can disrupt everything.
That's big number 95 with his hand down in the middle of that formation. A possible NFL prospect, certainly, as McDonald is on target to the 34 to Jason Schmarsh. Jason Matthews Smarsh with the catch on a gain of 16.
Well, we talked about confidence with the quarterback and getting him a throw between the hashes. The run and shoot, the biggest play you have to defend in that run and shoot is that seam route or that post route over the middle.
Jason Matthews Sharsh with catch number 81. He is 177 yards shy of 1,000 as they go for maybe possibly 4 guys with 1,000 yards this season, as McDonald throws an absolute bullet to the 43-yard line. That's Cedric Bird, who is playing to start the game.
Yeah, and good rhythm. Now the run and shoot 4 receivers, right? 2 slot guys and 2 guys on the outside. Usually a 2-by-2 formation, sometimes a 3-by-1 formation. And again, to me anyway, the most dangerous aspect of it are those slot guys who get up the middle of the field in the seam.
There's Bird in motion. And he'll get the carry. Knocked back. He does have the first down. So Hawaii runs this run and shoot. You hear about the air raid and the run and shoot. What's the difference to you?
Well, you know, they are similar in the sense that they both try to get space, find open grass, and they try to get the ball out. The air raid is a little bit more horizontal, throw the ball wide. The run and shoot is a little bit more attack you down the field first, a little bit more vertical. Not as many of the underneath routes, but they're both a philosophy and an aggressive attack of throwing the ball first.
They go 5 wide here. McDonald down the middle. Another seam ball for a first down to the 40-yard line to JoJo Ward.
Yeah, you know, again, we talked about this. You can't handle the run and shoot if you don't keep the ball out of the middle of the field. You have to wall off slot guys from getting inside. Sometimes you'd have to get your hands on those guys early, but if they can throw the ball in the middle of the field, Hawaii, BYU's in for a long day.
Even Rolovich said they don't have a guy like Ashley Lely, who was outstanding when he played. This is on target for another first down. Smart keeps his feet and travels all the way to the 6-yard line. Jared Smart has a first and goal. Hawaii on a gain of 25.
And how about McDonald spreading it around? We've seen Sharsh, Bird, Ward, Smart.
Time out on the field for a BYU
all of
injury.
These key receivers do the work, and they've been doing it in the middle of the field. And we'll see BYU at some point get to the sideline and talk about adjustments to try to keep those guys out of the middle of the field.
McDonald, end zone, touchdown. Jared Smart with the opening score.
When you play the picket fence zone coverage down here, everybody guards the goal line and everybody forgets about the back line. So every offense has their play where they want their receivers to get to the back line where the defenders won't go and drop the ball in over them. Done perfectly by Cole McDonald.
Jared Smart scores the touchdown. It's not as big of a score as what his dad did back in 1987 against Syracuse, but it counts for a lot. It's a postseason touchdown, 7-0 Hawaii. One of the great parts of bowl season is the opportunity for all the players involved, wherever they go, to get an opportunity to experience the community. A lot of guys don't have the opportunity to travel a whole lot when they're younger, going into their football days, and BYU made a visit to a local hospital and spent some time with some families who could use a little smile across their face this holiday season, which is very nice.
It is fantastic.
So Smart with a touchdown, 7-0 Hawaii, and BYU will get it back. at the 25-yard line off the fair catch.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, the QB, Rod, he's got some zip on the ball. I mean, he's got a nice release. You talked about that thumb injury. He injured it, he broke it against Toledo, and so grip has been an issue for him, but his release is beautiful.
Arm strength has been an issue as well with the shoulder injury that he had, and he picked off right there. He threw it into traffic and got beat. Corey Bethley picks it off.
I think he had two receivers in the same area, and it was a little unclear to me which one he was trying to get the ball to. There's what it's a little bit behind his initial read Hefo there, and that was the problem. There was another receiver in the area, but Hefo has his ball behind him, and Hefo will tell you that's one he should catch all day long. Not the best throw, but eye level with hands on it. Hefo's got to come down with that.
Usually a very reliable senior, Oleve Hefo. Hawaii with a short field, and Reed driven back by Chaz Ayu, the sophomore linebacker. A little post-play stuff going on. Chaz Ayu very excited.
One thing that's a little different about this run and shoot, Rod, the quarterback in terms of being a run threat, their second leading rusher, and then the RPO game that they run is a little different for a run and shoot team. True?
Yeah, I'd say June Jones would look out here and say, you know, Mouse Davis, they'd go, that's not our run and shoot. We didn't do the run pass option game, and we certainly didn't have quarterback design runs. So maybe 85% run and shoot.
Well, Mike Leach says that about the air raid too, and use the running back too much. McDonald to throw it down the middle. Smart again on his fingertip. Touchdown. An absolute dagger from McDonald for 40 yards.
Oh my goodness. Woo! You talk about a quarterback who's been focused on redeeming himself from his performance in last year's bowl game. He could not have gotten off to a better start, and that was one heck of a throw.
That is a jaw-dropping throw.
What is the one thing we said BYU could not allow to happen with this passing attack?
Between the hash marks.
Between the hash marks. What have they done? Between the hash marks.
And look at the score.
Yeah.
Extra point for Meskel. And Hawaii has jumped out to an early big lead. If you grew up watching Timmy Chang and Colt Brennan and all the guys they ran through here and chucking the football, there's another one at Aloha Stadium. Cole McDonald, an absolute bullseye for the touchdown. 14 points in 2:37. The soothing sounds of Hawaii offense. At 4:55 first quarter, Quinn Kesnick is downstairs. Ron Gilmore, Jason Benetti. We are enjoying the weather so you don't have to here at Aloha Stadium.
Very kind of us.
I mean, we are as philanthropic of a crew as anybody, as BYU will get it in an important drive coming up as Gawalaku on the return has it just short of the 30 as we take, as Quint mentioned, dealing with the grip issues and all of that comes with it. So the self-improvement really was stunted this year for Wilson, who throws again to the sideline on first down to Micah Simon.
And then you see throws like that and you go, whoa, man, that guy is something. You know, he stands in the middle of the field to the far sideline and drops one out there. You see the shot of him, hospital, shoulder bandage, surgery.
Good news when you're in the hospital, if there is any good news, is you can watch all the rom-coms you want. And so How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, I'm sure, was on the
you think he's going to have a few movie dates?
He told us he loves kind of the soft movies. He likes romantic comedies. Teenage heartthrob. Zach Wilson on the move to throw for Bushman, trying to high point it and knocked away. Eugene Ford,
good play,
got a hand in.
Now, I get that he's into rom-coms, you know, or people call them chick flicks or whatever.
Yeah.
But to have him go back and say, hey, How to Lose a Guy in 10 days, see that throw? Great throw moving to his right. I mean, once you go How to Lose a Guy in 10 days, it's, you know, along came Polly, right?
That's next.
Baby-faced sophomore can move his feet. loves Sunday dinners with his family at home.
A very nice young man who is now on the outside of this field getting to the 40-yard line. He's got some teeth when he gets on the field. He's happy to run, happy to take contact.
He's a talented guy, you know. He's a big man on campus, you know, and as I said, he's only going to get better. I mean, he hasn't had the off-season, the relaxed time to improve accuracy, to get in the weight room. In a year or two, we're going to be talking about him as one of the quarterbacks in the country.
This is trick play territory for BYU if they get a first down here on this third down. Got to convert it first.
Not far from the red zone. They love to do that. Little shuffle to the outside, picks up the first down. That is Aleva Hifo, who they are very willing to run. Another one of those seniors to move the sticks. BYU and Hawaii in their 32nd meeting of all time, dating back to 1930, before Hawaii was part of the Union.
Were you surprised at how deep this rivalry is?
Once we got here and we started talking to the coaches, you feel it. I mean, it's coming out of their pores, and players and locals, and part of it is because of what Lavelle Edwards was able to do to open up this recruiting ground for BYU. All the years together in the WAC. Down the middle, wide open Bushman. Inside the 5, first and goal. There is all of his talent on display.
Absolutely. 6'5", 250 pounds. Soft hands. When you run him down the seam, linebackers can't stay with him. Wilson recognizes this quickly, puts the ball up high where he's got that long arm range, wide catch radius, and some running skills afterward. He's a talented player.
Potential third-round draft choice right now in NFL eyes.
They brought in Mason Wake to play fullback, and down to the 1-yard line to set up second down and goal.
Good answering drive, Q.
Yeah, and it was much needed. That earlier third down conversion was gigantic because Wilson was struggling, didn't like the mojo on the far bench as they get baked in this sun over here, but this drive makes them competitive in this game. It really turns the tenor of this game around.
Assuming they finish it.
Got a second and goal here. Katoa and Wake, that's Shumway in motion. And they'll run it for Katoa, who's in. Touchdown, BYU.
Big drive, big finish for them. They needed that.
You know, talking to Kalani Sitake, talking to Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, they said Katoa was the most important guy for this offense today.
He's a talented guy. He's a guy who originally was committed to Oregon State, but he flipped to BYU after he went on his mission trip, and it's become a real focal point of this offense. He's the guy that sets up everything for Wilson throwing the ball. He is the perimeter runner and the inside runner.
Boy, the seams in this game are matchup nightmares, whether it be a slot receiver for Hawaii or Bushman, the tight end for BYU.
Yeah, if you didn't know what a seam was before this game, you do now.
Oh,
right?
You're going to know. As they fake the reverse, and Lincoln Victor takes it across the 20-yard line as we take. That's a beautiful ball right down the middle. A little more touch this time for JoJo Ward, the senior from Waco. So McDonald has shown the whole rainbow of what he can do so far today.
Yeah, you know, he's been outstanding. I mean, a little half row, comes back the other way and gets the ball over those long-armed linebackers again between the hash. You know, his numbers in the middle of the field are fantastic. As his QBR rating when he throws outside the hash, he's like 24 in the middle of the field, 90 outside the field.
Down the middle again, and it's batted away this time. Incomplete. He wanted Bird. Bo Tanner was on the coverage, and it's second down.
That ball hung up. It didn't have a clean spiral and caught a little breeze and hung up in the air forever. And that's been one of the few misses today for Cole McDonald. Quite honestly, down here, his height, you know, he reminds me a little of Jacob Eason, the way he stands tall in the pocket, but the decision-making and accuracy today, more like Jake Fromm. I couldn't be more impressed.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. Nice play by Bo Tanner to knock that ball down. I'm waiting for the adjustment for BYU defensively.
What do you think it might be?
You got to get your hands on those inside guys. They can't run free down the field.
As we watch the release here, running free, Smart down the sideline, and he's inside the 10. He absolutely lambasted Troy Warner to set up first and goal.
Man, oh man, are they laying it to him through the air. We told you this offense was fun, and they're looking deep first. They're not settling for the short throw. McDonald is looking deep to blitz them with the deep outside throw, the deep seam throw.
Cole McDonald came into today 7,000 yards short of Colt Brennan, 10,000 of Timmy Chang. And striking distance seems to be the phrase of the day. I mean, he is throwing bullseye after bullseye. You never know what's going up on the tote board when these two get together. Hawaii wrapping on the door, leading 14-7 and driving with Cole McDonald, who has just been outstanding. Keli'i Leakey is in as the tailback, and they will run with Faruda, who is just short of the goal line. So the Wildcat formation for Hawaii on the direct snap sets up second down and goal. And we are joined on the line by a guy who knows how to get you in from the 1-yard line. June Jones, longtime coach of Hawaii, 1999 to 2007. What's it like for you to sit at home and watch your former players and your former program coaching now?
Well, it makes me really proud. So many of those guys, Brian, Craig, Abraham, I got a whole bunch of guys on the staff. Rolo, of course, last time in this game, you know, threw lights out, and it's the reason there is even a Hawaii Bowl from years ago.
They're going to say McDonald was just short. June, you got a play that you can run from the half-yard line right now? Hawaii could use it.
Well, well, they're going to find a play, but I would throw it. You know how I am.
Yeah, you know, June, I think I remember a game when you ran it maybe once or twice. This is Rod, is that correct?
I think you had that game. It was on ESPN. We didn't run the ball until there was 3 minutes left in the game.
All right, what's this BYU rivalry like? We've heard so much about it. What's it like for you?
Well, this BYU rivalry goes way back to the missionary families on the North Shore and in Samoa. And, of course, Dick Tomey years. I mean, this was bigger than life. It was the only game in Hawaii for many years. And I think that 2001 year that Rolo was the quarterback really made it something special for all of Hawaii.
They just got in, coach. Touchdown for McDonald to make it 20-7.
And June, if I remember 2001, that was a BYU team that was undefeated and was perhaps overlooking you guys, talking about playing in a national championship game. But did you have to hit them up for what, 72 points?
Yeah, it was a heck of a game. They were undefeated. They were complaining about not getting them on the big bowls. And, of course, we had a pretty good team. And that game, 72, I mean, I think of Shannon Harris. I think of Chad Owens, who set the record, all-time history, 120 years of football, still holds the bowl game return yardage record in that game. And Rolo, I'll never forget the last pass he threw for a touchdown to Shannon Harris and Ashley. Those were something special, and it was big for Hawaii.
Hey, June, not many teams are committed to the run and shoot as Hawaii is, but when you look around the NFL, you look around college football, you can't help but notice a lot of the run and shoot principles are everywhere. That's got to be satisfying for you.
Well, Rod, it is. You know, I think back to 1987 when Jerry Glanville first hired me from the USFL to go into the NFL, and they said so much that this will never work, it'll never work. Now it's part of every offense. In fact, when I watch New England, I watch so much of their 4 and 5 wideouts. Everybody's doing some of what we do, and you know, Hawaii and Houston Roughnecks will be doing it full time. So I'm kind of jacked up about that.
Well, we look forward to seeing you and everything you do offensively. Appreciate the time. June Jones, enjoy the rest of the game, all right?
Thanks, Jason. Aloha, guys.
Aloha.
Thanks, you.
One of the great guys in coaching, one of the creative minds in play calling, June Jones. Oh, Bushman one-handed. Yes, sir. How about that?
Wow. We talked about his ability, his talent. Big guy, soft hands, and you tend to underestimate his catching radius. He's got long arms, which really helps him as a blocker. But watch here. Watch how he extends this big right paw out. Pulls this thing back in.
That's a terrific catch. They're using him today more in the slot. Sometimes he's a single wide receiver. He has not been attached to the line like a true tight end very much today.
Just sort of grazing there. That's one of the keys, Quint, is figuring out where he is at the start of a play. They'll run it on first down for Tyler Algier, who was a running back to start the year, moved to linebacker, and now back to running back with all the injuries they've had. And we asked Tuiaki, the defensive coordinator for BYU, if he fought Algier going back to offense. He said, no, but maybe Tyler did a little bit. He loved linebacker, but he's willing to do whatever for the team.
It's actually more fun to hit than be hit.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, right? Algier with the injuries to Tyson Williams, to Asupa, who was the starting running back before Katoa took over. Down the middle, Dax Milne inside the 15-yard line. So the sophomore sets up BYU nicely.
Do you believe, you know, the next one? We've heard the BYU people talk about Wilson. Watch this throw. On time, and look at that thing. Perfect accuracy. Receiver has a chance to continue to do something after he catches it. That's beautiful.
For folks at home, that doesn't get talked about enough. If you can easily run after the catch, that is an absolute keeper as Wilson finds Katoa to set up second down.
You know, my first college coach was Bill Walsh. And in practice every day, he had the quarterbacks focusing on not getting the ball to the receiver, but on the upfield shoulder, on this number, in this area, so they can turn this, to keep them running so that they didn't have to jump or break stride or anything. And the great quarterbacks, you know, the Joe Montanas, the Steve Youngs, those guys, they did that stuff perfectly.
Consistently.
Yes, over and over.
Yeah. Katoa inside the 5, and it's funny you mentioned Steve Young because Zach Wilson, I'm sure he's got other cool people in his cell phone, but after the Tennessee game, he got a couple of texts from Steve Young saying, hey, kid, good job beating an SEC team.
You see the way his face lit up? He's like, yeah, I get to tell. Steve Young texted me.
That's right. I mean, can you imagine looking at your phone as a quarterback, especially at BYU, and saying, oh, text from Steve Young. Also, mom texted me. A lot of Katoa on the drive. Wilson leaning into it. And he is knocking on the door. No signal yet. BYU says touchdown.
He's really in.
The whole pile's in. Yeah,
he's really in.
How can he not be in?
Everybody's in.
He's in the light blue.
He was so far in, the refs kind of lost sight of him.
No. Well, Quinn, is that the first time you've had the touchdown call first down on the field?
He's running back on the sideline, and they still can't find him.
Look at that.
He was in by 5 feet.
Well, Q, you're talking about an offensive line where hardly anybody is under 6'6", and everybody's over 300 pounds. And they are wearing out that smaller defensive front for Hawaii, particularly short yardage and goal line.
Suddenly, this game looks like it's going to be a scoring fest.
21-14.
I know you and Q are having a good time, but focus for a moment here. BYU is back in this thing, and Bushman's had 2 big catches on 2 drives to get him right back in this.
We'll check the focus after this.
Thank you.
Look, the whole island chain is a water park, so you don't necessarily need a water park, but that's Wet and Wild here. The only problem for Hawaii is sometimes they do have to play road games and go somewhere else. This is just wonderful out here. Great hospitality from the Bull folks, and you look at the wrong ticket. Oh, the Gator fan. I see. They had the wrong ticket. That's you're a little west of your game.
The second half, you'll see BYU adjust and try and find a way to be more physical, to get more in the face of the receivers, and to force McDonald to throw outside the hashes where his accuracy tends to fall off a little bit.
He pulls it there, sidesteps Peely, whips it down the middle and turned his receiver around. Second down.
Good adjustment by BYU. One of the few times we've seen them bring pressure. They're not big on blitzing. They did this time to affect the quarterback. And then you see the single coverage. Again, you've got a safety trying to match up with a premier receiver who can run by you.
That's Hayden Livingston, who is not on the depth chart for BYU, but they have the injury to Lee. Moore came off earlier, so they're shorthanded in the defensive backfield. Second down for McDonald. Down the sideline, wide open, JoJo Ward. Inside the 15, he burned Gowalaku. 47 yards.
Well, Ward had man-to-man coverage, used a double move to get by Gowalaku. Now, Gowalaku is their best man-for-man cover guy. And he tried to press him, and the double move, kind of a stop and go, allowed Ward to keep going. And look at the ball that McDonald put out there. Let him go get it.
Rod, that was as beautiful a pass as I have seen from field level all season. It was a rainbow, just a gorgeous arc.
That will make you smile if you're a quarterback person, and that will not. He goes down. J.J. Nwigwe sacks McDonald.
6'5", 260. Nwigwe ran through his blocker, and in that run and shoot, your quarterback gives you a little half roll. He rolls right into the pressure. Right where you saw Elm Manning trying to hold off Nwigwe.
BYU team has not brought much pressure this year. They're tied for 125th in sacks. That's number 13.
Yeah, it's not their style. They are primarily a drop 8 cover team, or a drop 7, rush 3 or 4.
Miles Reed on the run to set up third down. Miles Reed, by the way, is one of the guys who helps recruit players to here at Hawaii. He is one of the top-level recruiting hosts. He likes to have fun, big personality, and you almost have to have a big personality to play for Nick Rolovich, because he'll dress up in costumes.
I'll tell you this about him. I've not seen another running back this year, his size, better at pass protection.
Is that right?
Oh, he's only about 180 pounds. He doesn't care if you are 250, 260 coming in. He will stick his nose in there and throw his body into it to protect his quarterback over and over again.
They go empty this time. Pump fake. McDonald gets dragged down. The ball came loose. However, there was a whistle as well. Zach Daw pulled it away from him, and it'll be a BYU forced fumble and turnover. He just crowbarred it free from his paws.
You saw the pump fake by McDonald. Now, when he brings the ball back down, he holds it down low. Watch how low this ball is. And there you see Daw. He's like, ball? Ball? I can just take this away from you.
This is a direct quote from Zach Daw from earlier in the year. Tackling is kind of a treat for me. So Zach Daw has described a high confidence factor winning one-on-one, and it comes from his background of wrestling. He was a state champion wrestler at Pleasant Grove High School in Utah. Question is, though, will he keep the ball? And the answer is McDonald's knee was down. You just saw the knee go down while they were wrestling. And if it's an alternating possession, essentially, while the knee goes down for the quarterback, he's going to keep the ball. And that's what plays here.
Yeah, you know, and keep in mind, this was huge for Hawaii. You won 9 games, but they've been the worst team in the country in turning over the football. And they just avoided one right there.
30 turnovers coming in. -1 turnover margin per game, which is a massive number as Meskel sends it flying to the goalposts and through. Hawaii from 46 makes it a 10-point game off the sack, but no fumble, and that is big news for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, who lead by 10. Hit early on, had a stab at Penn State, couldn't finish it. The analytics police were out for Pat Narduzzi, and they end up in a ball game anyway. You do not want the analytics police siren coming after you. Wilson, Alevahifo, he's got it just short of midfield at the 49-yard line. Hifo, the very reliable senior.
Terrific body control, great ball skills there, turning in the air to find it. Wilson putting the ball up, giving him a chance in man coverage to make a play. This is well done. Watch the adjustment here. Yeah, that is nice.
I like Hifo. I like him as a player, a senior. I hope he gets a shot in some NFL camp. A Swiss Army knife type player.
Bushman certainly will get a chance, and he rampages through 2 Hawaii players to set up another first down.
And Bushman has been in the middle of every good drive for BYU. You know, find him coming across, give him the ball, put it up high, let him use those big long arms to pull it in. He was instrumental in the first touchdown drive, the last one, and now he's got another big catch to get them deeper into Hawaii territory.
Trick play. Micah Simon wants to throw. He does for Shumway. And it's incomplete. There is that just outside the red zone inkling for Sitake and his offensive coordinator Grimes to run the trick stuff.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that in taking that shot, they haven't gone more towards Wilson, the side where Ferris, the starting corner, is out, as opposed to working that side now. Come back here. As long as you avoid 18 Davis, the corner, that's the way to go for BYU.
Totoa with the cutback to set up a third down. Quint, to your point about Hifo, by the way, he's gotten more acquainted with special teams, he told us earlier this year, which certainly serves him well in the NFL future.
Yeah, a punt returner talked to us about the challenges of catching punts and how underestimated that is for the common fan at home. But he also told us that he's terrified of amusement parks. Speedy rides. I'm not sure how that agrees with being a punt returner.
What? I mean, I understand roller coasters, but amusement parks?
He avoids amusement parks at all costs.
Yeah, he don't want to be conned into a thrill ride. Wilson on the run, zigzagging through the defense, and Wilson finds space inside the 20.
That play was designed to get to the edge, and they had the edge. Great blocking again on that edge. Make sure you get your tackle, pull them outside there. Chandon Herring, 77, getting out there, leading the way, and easily helping his quarterback pick up the first down. And now you can take a shot if you want to, right? You're probably going to get man coverage down here.
MP, by the way, on that play, the center who they think so highly of, was out there kicking out as well. Wilson to throw with a line drive for Milne inside the 15.
Yeah, that's the run pass option of the offense.
In trickeration for BYU, as expected, Simon turns the corner, and he's in. Touchdown, Micah Simon for BYU.
Nice job of BYU setting them up for this. They've run the jet sweep. They come that way, start with it, and then bring Micah Simon back on the reverse. Jet sweep action, one way, come back with a little inside reverse, and there's Micah Simon.
That's exactly right, Rod. I'm on the Hawaii sideline. All the defensive coaches were saying 15, 15, motion, motion.
When they get the coaches, when the coaches are duped too, you're probably going to score. And again, by the way, on that play, Empey was downfield, leading the way.
Well, you know, Empey was downfield. You get a good block from 76, LeChance downfield. Excellent calls. And again, my goodness.
That's good stuff. 24-21, your score, as Hawaii will get it back. And this return for Lincoln Victor. The freshman has him just short of the 30-yard line. McDonald whips it. First down, Sharsh inside the 45.
Oh, you want to talk about threading a needle. That was a throw. And he's throwing into 8 defenders, and those windows are really, really small. Look at that one.
Straight over the top release. The ball comes out. The nose of the football's tilted down, but he is straight over the top like a fastball pitcher.
Kind of reminds me of Aaron Brooks a little bit. Remember him from Virginia?
Yes.
Aaron Brooks came from low and then over the top.
And he's got a quick release, but it's a long delivery. Yep. He holds the ball down low and brings it up and around. So it's a little long, not ideal, but he's quick with it.
How does that affect him in his future, possibly NFL?
Hey, look, those guys at that level in the NFL, that ball, you do that little hitch thing, that ball's going the other way.
Yeah.
It's a pick six.
McDonald, a junior, so 1 year of eligibility remaining. There have been some rumblings about his possible NFL draft stock, and Quint mentioned earlier, it's sort of all over the map as he throws another strike to JoJo Ward. And a first down.
Look, scouts are going to love his size. They're going to love his arm strength. They're going to love his toughness. They're going to have some questions about the inconsistency at times where, he's thrown a lot of picks. He's thrown the ball in situations where he probably should not have. His accuracy is a little bit down outside the hash. But overall, somebody's going to be really happy that they get him.
He's thrown for 300 yards in the first half of a bowl game, by the way.
Absolutely.
Holding on to the ball, waiting, and it is intercepted. Troy Warner goes down to the ground to pull it in.
And he barely held on to it.
Caught it between his legs.
Did Smart run the wrong route?
The play, the ruling on the field of interception is being changed to incomplete pass.
Overturned.
The ball returned to the 33-yard line where it will be 2nd and 10. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute 32 seconds. 1:32, please.
Good call, Rod.
Now the challenge for
Thank you. The
McDonald
clock will start on the snap.
is when he's got Bird down the middle of the field like that, he's your best receiver, look that through before you come back off to someone shorter. He had Bird running free for the touchdown.
To the sideline, JoJo Ward with nobody in the vicinity, and that breakdown sends him to the 25.
But if you're BYU, you're okay with that. Those little check downs, flat throws, that's the cheese. You don't want to get so caught up in those that you give up the deep throw. You want to react to those. So BYU defensively is okay with that. Just keep taking away that deep throw, particularly that seam route, that post route in the middle.
They're okay with it as long as Peely makes the tackle, which he did. McDonald outside, first down.
Little zone read action. Not a traditional part of the run and shoot offense, but every offense now seems to have some quarterback run game in it. Quarterback reads the edge, doesn't give the ball, figures he can outrun the defensive end or linebacker to the edge there, and he does. 2
timeouts for Hawaii. They'd like to score, obviously, and take this clock down to zeros.
Question is, will they score too soon with BYU holding 3 timeouts as well? McDonald down the same, touchdown. Sharsh from 18 yards away, and Hawaii's put up a 30-burger.
I think we're wearing out the seams on this field. Good look by McDonald. Saw the matchup right off the bat, looking to his slot to his left. He's got 3, look at that, free release right down the middle of the field between the safety and the linebacker. Can't make it any easier than that. Can't make it any easier. You got a slot guy and nobody gets a hand on him.
That's the reserve linebacker, Max Tooley, who was closest. But June Jones mentioned the name Chad Owens, the former Hawaii All-American. He is the cousin of Jason Matthew Sharsh. The transfer from Santa Barbara Community College has a touchdown.
did his eyes get bluer as his hair got blonder?
You know, I think that's what happens when you live in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
That you look at the ocean so much, your eyes get a deeper blue. Wilson on the roll. Wilson chucks it down the field, and a diving try by Dax Milne, and he brought it in. First down.
Yeah, Wilson was to do.
Yeah, Wilson was destroyed after he threw it and drew a flag.
Yeah, but Q, do you know how hard that is to make that throw?
Well, that's the throw that you're not supposed to make, by the way. You're throwing back across your body over the middle of the field, but it was a thing of beauty.
Tim O'Day, what you got?
Personal foul, late hit, defense number 48. The 15-yard penalty be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, Muasau was in there first. We'll see who got the actual hit in on Wilson. Yeah, that was Pritchard coming
Correction,
in.
Yep, Pritchard.
The foul was on defender number 2. Defender number 2.
Wilson scanning. Wilson hit low, and down he goes at the 19. It was Derek Thomas, the junior from Huntington Beach.
BYU has struggled in the red zone
Charge timeout,
this
BYU,
season.
their second of the half.
51% of the time they get touchdowns, and ideally you want to be north of 70%, somewhere around 75% would be excellent, and they've struggled.
Hefo in motion, second down for Wilson. This is Hefo, who is dropped at the 20-yard line. 3rd and 15. They play well off the receivers. Wilson turns it to the far side and misfired for Simon. You kicking? What's your choice?
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's your trick play you pulled out here on 3rd down. You got to at least try to get something out of this. And, you know, you can't cut your kicker and hire somebody else. You can go scholarship hunting in the offseason, but you got a couple guys on roster. You got to do something with them, right?
The split-second transfer portal has not been invented yet. So Oldroyd, after being iced on Oahu, bad snap. Oldroyd strikes it, and it is good. If any of the games are going to be like this, they're going to be dandies. Quint is downstairs.
Coach, how would you best describe the play of your quarterback?
Oh, he's been playing really good. You know, the sacks I really didn't like, and I thought our receivers have made some big catches. I'd like to get the run game going a little bit. Defense needs another stop, and we got another half because BYU gets the ball. That was a big drive for us getting that touchdown before half.
This seems like a scoring type game where whoever can make more stops. What's the biggest challenge your defense is facing?
Well, I think they're some of the eye candy, and they got good schemes. They got good players. That tight end's that guy can make some plays, and the quarterback, the schemes, their stuff is they can cause you problems.
Thanks, Coach.
That's it.
That's it. It's about the eye candy. Jason.
Did he just say that's my best side when he was sidling up next to you?
Yes, he did.
That's outstanding. We're having fun. I don't know about you on Christmas Eve. We're having a great old time. 31-24 at halftime. After the break, Rick and crew have all the highlights from around the country. It's the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. Some previews, the New Year's Six coming your way next. You're watching the SoFi Hawaii Bowl, and in the interest of equal time, we mixed in a couple defensive highlights there. On the way back from the break, it is 31-24 as we take a look at our first half stats brought to you by ServPro. McDonald has been dazzling, Smart with 2 touchdowns. Wilson for BYU has a rushing touchdown. Okay, Rod, you played defense. How do you stop these offenses?
Well, at least in terms of this run and shoot, I've been challenging BYU to be more aggressive defensively. To really get their hands on the slot receivers and not let them have free releases. We'll see if that happens. They're not a blitzing team defensively. I don't think that's the answer for BYU. So we'll see what they do. Now, for Hawaii, on the other hand, Wilson has been extending plays and really causing them problems. Can they keep him in the pocket, and can they affect him? Can they get to him? Hawaii needs to bring pressure. That is more their identity.
Engage blocking again as Katoa crashes down at the 49 for another BYU first down.
Getting to the edge. This is what BYU did last year against Hawaii. They pull one of their interior linemen, get to the edge, knock out that contained guy, and pick up yardage. They did it for 280 yards last season.
Christensen's got 100 pounds on Eugene Ford there on the edge. That was the blocking situation right there. As you see Christensen at 295 out of Bountiful, Utah. Dax Milne to the short side, and he made his way on the tightrope inside the 45.
It's one of these things. You go back and you pull out the film from last year and you go, hey, we did this well, we did that well. What's our game plan this one? Well, we're going to change and do this. Well, wait a minute. Why don't we do what we did until they prove that they can stop that?
It's coaches overthinking, and it happens every week in college football, right?
They know what you did, so you're going to do something different, and you can outthink them that way. Just go beat them the way you beat them, right?
It is somewhat different personnel, but the success is still there as Wilson's going for the sideline, and great coverage by Ford on the edge against Dax Milne to set up third down.
Now, I'm not saying you don't change your game plan and you don't tweak things from game to game or year to year, but you have to challenge that other team and make them show you that they have solved the last problem. Good coverage, as we talked about once before out there by Ford.
Eugene Ford pressed into duty with Rochesterman Ferris out because of an off-field issue. Their best cover corner not playing today. Wilson down the middle, a bullet incomplete, and sometimes those short throws, the accuracy is not on target with the quick release from Wilson.
Yeah, he's got a lot of arm, and remember, you're talking about a guy who had a pin in his thumb and a cast, and that touch and that feel for the short throw, I mean, those things might take a little longer to come back.
You like the punt here?
Well,
4th down and 4 in a 55 total point game
against an offense you haven't been able to stop? Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Your punt's safe here defensively. Treat this like it's going to be a fake.
This is the first punt since the first drive of the game. And they will go ahead and boot it to JoJo Ward from Oldroyd.
You know, we still have a punting national crisis.
You're saying the importing of Australians has overtaken college football.
Most Power 5 teams have Australian punters now. We can't produce punters in America now.
Baruta tipped it in the air, and it's incomplete. So second down. If you're just joining us, there are 55 points on the board. If you're with family members or you have family members around the world, remind them that they know how It's a Wonderful Life ends. They don't know how the SoFi Hawaii Bowl ends. So join in with us for the conclusion of what's been a really entertaining game so far.
Good way to spend your Christmas Eve with family and friends, and a high-scoring game in the background, huh? Doesn't hurt.
It's Pac-12 after dark without the Pac-12 so far. McDonald into heavy traffic. I mean, H1 traffic, and it's third down.
Yeah, that's not the choice, Q.
No, and you think about how good he's been so far this game, but this season, the inconsistency, the ugly decisions at times, and now with the worst field position of the game for Hawaii, he's got to take care of the ball. He got bailed out twice in the first half, a fumble and a potential interception overturned by replay review.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, 300+ yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 18 completions. So you're right, you got the good stuff, and now you get a little bit of the shaky stuff.
They're top 20 in third down conversion in the country, Hawaii, and McDonald threw it right to Fanua.
Yes, he did.
Goodness gracious.
Yes, he did. He couldn't have walked up and handed it to him any easier, and Fanua just couldn't hang on to it. And there were nothing but blue shirts in the middle of the field there. Take a look at this. Look at that. 3 blue shirts trying to squeeze it into Ward, number 9, and I don't know how he saw Ward. There's nothing but blue around there.
It was a predetermined throw, I believe.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm standing right behind him, and that's where he locked up.
Just the second punt for Hawaii. They have the 7th fewest punts in the FBS. Hifo to the fringe. Aleva-Hifo has room to go, and he's inside the 5. There is a marker down on the play.
The playing field.
Sideline warning, BYU. This is their first warning. There is no yardage enforcement with their warning. First and goal, BYU.
So that's all it is, the sideline warning. The get-back coach is going to get fined.
Yeah, you get this punt, and as a returner, your job, make one guy miss, get to that wall. Now watch here. He gets a block. He's over to the wall. Now all the Hawaii players are inside the wall, and they can't get to you.
Aleva spoke to us earlier this year about how much he enjoys returning punts, and I think he realizes that's going to be a critical aspect that determines his trajectory potentially in the NFL. He's got to be a great special teams player.
That was a great play, Q.
We've seen him take jet sweeps. We've seen him return punts. He can throw the ball as well. He's set up a first and goal for BYU. Wilson on the roll. He wants to duck his head, and he gets hit at the 2.
This is typical BYU down here. Get to the edge, pull one of your linemen, little gap scheme. Clark Barrington, 56, the left guard, pulls out, gets in front of Wilson. Pull everybody to the right side, pull around your guard, let him get out there and lead you. You saw 56 Barrington. Now, second and short.
Wilson again is in. Touchdown BYU. His dad was born here. He's got roots in Hawaii, and Zach Wilson has a couple of rushing touchdowns and 1 point away from the tie.
Yeah, you think about this rivalry, and Wilson gives you all sides of it. A guy in high school who committed to Boise State, rooted for Utah, hated BYU, got a late offer from BYU, and now he's their star quarterback.
He was more than happy to change hats. His parents have talked about how weird it is to root for BYU, but they are well behind the baby-faced quarterback Wilson, who's deadlocked the game. Before you fly away from Honolulu, you've got to take in a luau. This one at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel at Waikiki Beach. Team's got a chance to take in some traditional dancing, Maori warrior demonstration, and a fire dance as well. Quint got to his own luau earlier this week, didn't you, Q?
This is an island with great musicians. There's a wonderful musical community here.
Are you one of them? Are you thinking of taking
No,
up
I don't
the ukulele?
play the ukulele or the guitar, but some great singers here.
By the end of this game, you might have the chance to. This is a high scorer, and it doesn't show many signs of slowing down as the return gets Hawaii just short of the 30-yard line. Well, Kalani Sitake said we'd see defending the seam differently. And he's undercut that time by Fanua, who nearly had the pick on the last drive.
Yeah, they have changed up defensively, Q. They're doing a better job of getting a body on slot receivers. They're making sure they hit receivers as they come off the line of scrimmage, which is disrupting the timing a little bit, which is something we talked about and we expected the adjustment from BYU. You see the defenders in the face of the receivers now.
They were up at the line. Long ball, McDonald down the sideline, and too much on it.
Yeah, and that's been the adjustment so far, is to make sure you crowd the receivers, you get your hands on them, you disrupt the timing. Now the adjustment for Hawaii, you see, if they're going to do that on the edge, that's man coverage, and that receiver has to beat it. He has to get deep and beat that press coverage on the outside.
Jason and Cedric Bird, their leading receiver with 95 receptions, does not have a helmet on the sideline. Looks like the back spasms may have ended his evening.
He came in with the back injury, played in the first half, was fairly quiet as McDonald hits Sharsh, little step back, trying to gain ground after that, and the cavalry continues to come to set up a fourth down.
Yeah, so this adjustment by BYU has unsettled McDonald and the offense. Now, the chess game will continue. We'll see how they adjust it. Do they start moving their receivers? Do they start trying to get a better release, or do they start thinking we need to come with Cordero and see if maybe we can mix up the quarterback thing with more quarterback run game?
And talking to the coaches, as you mentioned, it's not necessarily even about McDonald's success. It's simply the timbre of the offense, the feel of the offense. And so he might lose his ability to play quarterback in this game just because of ineffectiveness of the whole unit.
Can you take a guy out who's thrown for more than 300 yards?
Aleva Hifo, by the way, we'll find out the answer to that. Hifo tiptoeing down the sideline with a gymnastic return just short of midfield. It's a 31-yard takeback.
Nice show. What a return by Hifo. Second big return by him. And again, he's trying to get to the wall. Little hesitation step. He makes a guy miss. He makes 3 guys miss.
Juice,
Nice.
yeah, juice play for their bench and their fans, and look for BYU to be aggressive now with good field position.
Zach Wilson down the middle, got his big man Bushman sliding down to the 41. Now look, we've talked about this rivalry, and Nick Rolovich mentioned how important that game was in 2001. June Jones mentioned it as well. Rolovich's final game, as they're going to go tempo now. Talon Shumway across the 40-yard line, but you sense that there's something a little bit more that tingles the spirit between these two teams.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of it is kind of mixed. There was the love for BYU and all that they've done over the years here. There's Lavelle Edwards and opening up football for the Polynesian community, and then there was Hawaii being left out of the Mountain West Conference.
Yep.
When BYU moved there, and we're not as good as you. All of that, all those things are kind of put together in this stew of this rivalry.
They will run it, and Algier inside the 25. It's a first down, BYU. And even if BYU doesn't feel what you were saying, Nick Rolovich mentioned that exact thing to us, that sometimes they felt like they were BYU's stepchild.
Well, yeah,
in the rivalry.
Yeah, well, and you heard June Jones mention it as you see the great blocks there for Algier. June Jones talked about that 2001 game and how they felt that a 12-0 BYU team disrespected them, overlooked them, was more focused on trying to play in the biggest bowl game, and came here to the island, and Hawaii hung 72 on them.
They got rocked. Rolovich threw 8 touchdowns. Algier pinballing through the second level for a first down and goal.
And Bushman, 89, finishing his block 10 yards down the field. Again, BYU, that offensive line, particularly on the edge. 6'6", 300 at the left tackle. 6'6", 310 at the left guard. 6'8" at the right tackle. 6'7" at the right guard.
The length and height stand out from field level, Rod, and they're winning those one-on-one battles. A lot of missed tackles on this drive for the Rainbows. And
the guy they're trying to tackle is a former linebacker, by the way, who has 24 tackles on defense this year, Tyler Algier. Second and goal, BYU.
Yeah, this is a challenge. Now remember the last time BYU was down here, Wilson fumbled going into the end zone. Hawaii was really aggressive, bringing pressure a couple times to force a third down play. Let's see if they bring the pressure again here.
BYU brings in Emmanuel Asupa, who's been dealing with a foot injury the last couple of weeks before the bowl. And they'll run it with him. He gets undercut and chopped down at the 4.
Tremendous effort off the corner for Hawaii.
That's Samuela Akoteu, the senior from California.
That's the end of the third.
31-31. End of the third. We are going to have a marvelous finish in the shadow of the beach. Wilson and BYU, McDonald and Hawaii level after 3.
Why don't you say what you want from me? Tell me what you need from me. Tell me what you want to go.
There's the infinity pool at the Sheraton Waikiki. the offseason home of Steve Turnberger, our on-site producer. We're tied at 31 in Paradise, and BYU rapping on the door not so gently. Alevahifo seeking the end zone. He's turned away, and it's 4th down. Corey Bethley ushered him to the paint. What are you doing here?
Oh, they did a great job stringing that out. Good job by Hawaii. Now they will kick here, but what would your guys say?
You're talking about my analytics people.
Your
and lab
analytics
coach,
guys
you're
would
saying.
say, "Oh, come on, you got to go for it here."
Not necessarily. I mean, with the way your defense has been playing, you could argue to kick the field goal, take the lead. But you have had kicking problems.
Yeah, I kick because my kicker is getting his confidence back. He just made one. Let him make another one. And you've got some control over Hawaii's offense at the moment right now.
Short angle from 20. And he's got it. Oldroyd sinks it. And BYU retakes the lead early 4th quarter. U1 in control. 3rd quarter total yards 128 to -4.
Ouch.
That'll get the job done if you're BYU, which has won 11 of the last 12 meetings in this rivalry, and the first time they've met in a bowl game. This is on Hawaii's home field, even though the Rainbow Warriors are actually the designated road team. They couldn't even dress in their own locker room.
That's got to make you mad.
Crazy.
You can't be happy about that. Yeah.
No, you got all your stuff in there, and then you have to move. But such is life in the bowl season, and we're glad to have you along for what's been an entertaining first 3 quarters. No touchback. Instead, Panoke, the young wide receiver, ends up getting to about the 20-yard line.
Empty formation.
This is the box. Look how light this box is,
Yep.
Rod.
Quarterback run
They're
game.
inviting run.
Bird tangled up at the 40-yard line and yanked down by Warner, the senior.
Quint, that empty formation BYU struggled with last year in this game, and part of what Hawaii did was run the quarterback draw against that light box. We've not seen that yet tonight, but that is something that they should be able to employ when they go empty.
It's there if you want it.
Well,
All you'd have to do is double team Tonga inside and then follow the other guard out.
Here's another empty formation for that possibility.
That's a big dude, 95 in the middle. Quint's talking about the middle guy of 3 on that defensive line. McDonald, quick hitter. Sharsh got off the line well, and he's got a first down across the 45.
So they're rushing 3 and they're dropping 8, and those linebackers that Quinn is talking about in the box near the line of scrimmage, they're at about 5 yards depth, and on the snap they're taking a step back thinking defend the pass, so you have an opportunity to run. Once they recognize run, they come flying up.
Empty set again, screen off the bubble, and Smart is torpedoed after medium gain. Chaz Ayu got into his body. Look, death by 1,000 paper cuts is fine by Hawaii here,
Sure.
as long as they get in.
Well, if it's helping confidence, if it's helping McDonald's confidence to complete some short passes, great. It's a great thing. It's a good thing. A guy had a torridly hot first half and then cooled off in the 3rd quarter.
Transplant from California to here in Hawaii, just like his coach, Nick Rolovich, who spent a couple years at junior college before making his home as the Hawaii quarterback. McDonald on the run. He was hit from behind by Mahe, and then head on later by Daw, who tried to wrestle the ball from him earlier, and now it's 3rd down.
You know, the one disappointment I would say for Hawaii tonight is because Bird has been banged up, and we've not been able to see his genius this season. Came in with 95 catches, more than 1,000 yards receiving, and he's been hampered by the back spasms and the like. Otherwise, he's a guy that can dominate a game.
One of 3 guys over 1,000 yards this year for Hawaii. McDonald goes through his checks, and Smart has a first down. The ball came loose. And they're going to say first down, call him down at the 38 as Kafensis got on it. He's saying that should be a fumble and a recovery, and the officials aren't having it.
You see McDonald come all the way back to his left to find Smart.
Smart was on top of a body, and there was a clear recovery, but Looks like replay's not going to stop play. 4th down and 3 for Hawaii. McDonald over the middle, got the first down and then some. Cedric Bird healthy enough to hit it to the 25. It's a gain of 20 at a major spot.
He's been a decoy most of the night because of the back spasms, but the quick slant, watch him avoid the pressure and contact, and a perfectly thrown ball by McDonald for a key first down.
Sharsh back in motion. This time he stays out of the backfield. McDonald, deep ball left side, back of the end zone, incomplete. Nick Mardner trying to high point it, and they go crashing into a sign.
And Mardner is one of the few tall receivers that they have on the Hawaii roster, 6'5", and McDonald put it up to give him a chance. And he uses all 6'5" to get up and get this thing, but he can't get 1 foot in bounds at the end here. Good play by Heron, number 11, to really press Mardner to the back of the end zone.
Mardner, a red shirt last year out of Mississauga, Ontario, who went to the elite, the opening. McDonald incomplete. Sharsh defended closely by Kafusi, and it's 3rd down.
I remember Mouse Davis saying that small receivers can really excel in this run and shoot offense, body control, change of direction. But ideally, if you can get a 6'4", 6'3" guy with that kind of body control, they will blow the offense open.
Well, Nick Rolovich described Ashley Lely, one of his receivers who was great for the Broncos in the NFL, as physically dominant. And that's the type of thing that they don't have as much of without somebody like that.
Yeah, you might be in 2-down territory here for Hawaii.
3rd and 15. Blindside pressure, and down he goes. J.J. Nwigwe, and McDonald never saw him, but he certainly felt him.
How big is that? That is a 3-man rush with 5 blocking, and you can't protect the quarterback. Manning, 75, gets locked up one-on-one with Nwigwe, and he can't hold him off.
Now you went from range of Mescal's long for the year, which is 50, and now out of his range.
Yeah.
Hifo waves for the fair catch, and that's a good punt. To the 6-yard line, that's where BYU will embark with just about 4 minutes to go in the 32nd meeting between these two schools. We asked him about growing up and what this place means to him and how this island shaped him, and what he hearkened back to was Laie Park and going there and playing all sorts of games outside, being outdoors until the sun went down, and then having to come home, capture the flag, kick the can, pick up football, whatever it is. This place means a great deal to the heart of that guy who wants to win badly. With his team holding the ball, Wilson to the sideline, an incomplete 2nd down.
And how many family members do you have here, Coach? He couldn't even tell us. He says, I ran out of tickets. 20 or 30 family members before the game. I said, Coach, where's your family sitting? He said, I'm too nervous. I don't even want to deal with that right now. I'm locked in.
Yeah, listen, Huey, from day one, he told his team they had to win this game. It was an important game for them, and I think some of that was personal, and some of that was for the long-term development of the program for next season.
Satake getting a contract extension late this year. He and the offense will run it on 2nd down. So 3rd down coming up, and Hawaii can choose to hang on to the timeouts right now or start to use them, and it looks like they'll hang on.
With just under 4 minutes to go, wise decision since you're down a timeout. You want to get a stop here. You'll still have plenty of time, and if this ball is punted, if they don't make the 4th down, you'll get good field position as well.
You're leaning on your offensive line. They've done the job today.
Q,
can they win a victory type drive right here?
Q, they've won on the edge. Jet sweep, toss sweep, gap scheme, pull one of your linemen to get to the edge behind Bushman. That's worked for them.
That was Hifo in the backfield. Wilson meandering across the 15. He's got a first down for the second time, head over heels. This time he clings to the football.
The speed and the athleticism. He outran a spy and an additional defender.
Defensive injury.
Injured player Bethley.
Yeah, they've got eyes on it. They're expecting this. Now watch. Here comes the spy, and he outruns the spy.
Algier turned away. Derek Thomas snapped him up quickly, and Hawaii uses one of those 2 remaining timeouts. And now trying to put it away, 2nd and 9. They'll go reverse from Algier for Hifo, who has to break it down and slice back upfield. That's a nifty run by Hifo, who saw Matautia coming, and he dodged him.
And now you start thinking about your timeouts, Hawaii.
Charge timeout, Hawaii. Their 3rd and final of the half.
Go to the edge. You've had a lot of success getting to the edge with your big linemen and with your quarterback. Why not do it again?
Under center. Wilson rolling. Incomplete. They got his feet moving intentionally, and Hawaii's going to get a chance here. Wow.
But you stop the clock.
So many parts of that are but you. ...
You stop the clock. You run the ball. You run more time off the clock.
Operator, please set the
Bushman was
game
open,
clock to
Rod.
2:13.
Q, but this is the thing. You do these things, and you're so dependent on perfect execution, and you're getting pressure. It's tough. You're making it tougher on yourself than you have to. Run the clock. Make it tougher on the team that's behind.
You essentially gave them their timeout back.
Yes, you did.
They knocked a couple seconds off the clock. The operator did not start it at the time. Opportunity for Ward, giving ground, giving a lot of ground. Flag is in, and when you go laterally like that, somebody's going to block somebody in the back, and that's what happened.
A long way to go for Hawaii, and you're right, Q. Outside is where they're going to have to work. Not much inside unless Bird is able to work some magic.
Long ball down the edge, incomplete. A little too much air under it. He was looking for JoJo Ward against Kowaliku, 2nd down.
Yeah, and that's the thing we were talking about, Q. When they're bunching up things inside, they're giving you press coverage on the outside. Ward is their best deep threat on the outside. And so
Ward
Donald's
created
looking that way.
separation, Rod. He was by him there for a moment. That ball seemed to hang.
It did.
JoJo Ward, 1,000-yard receiver, all Mountain West 2nd team. There's some talent on the outsides for Hawaii. McDonald again scanning. Now he runs straight up the gut, and McDonald dives. He's short by a yard, so the clock will move on a 3rd down and 1 coming up.
A little sense of urgency for Hawaii. They've got time. They need to pick up this 1st down. Empty formation. They can pick this up easily.
Light box again. 3 on the line. McDonald heaves it deep. Sideline. He's got the freshman Martiner. Nick Martiner to the 25-yard line. He was the only one in the zip code. It's a gain of 37.
And BYU simply forgot about it. Little used Martiner, 84, 6'5", playing on the left outside, was ignored by BYU. They had number 11, Heron, roll up short. As you see, he's short, and nobody is behind him to protect the deep throw.
Hawaii in striking distance. McDonald, down the middle, touchdown!
Are you kidding me?
Nick Martiner Knights at Aloha Stadium. Soak it in, Cole McDonald.
Well, Quint, we talked about the approach for McDonald had to be to the outside because BYU was packing everything into the middle to take away the seam route inside to take away the post route inside, and the guys on the outside had to win. They just did. They beat the man coverage.
Nick Mardner, 3 receptions on the season prior to that drive. The lanky freshman.
It's quite the connecting flight from Honolulu to Mississauga, Ontario.
You see McDonald quickly looking out to his left, recognizing the single coverage and the slant route by Mardner. Now, most of the time, BYU had been playing press coverage on the outside receivers. Aaron played off that time, which gave Mardner an inside route, and he took full advantage of that on the slant.
They scored too fast, Jason?
They might have. Big hit, ball loose. OKK knocked it free, and they unpile, and BYU will have an opportunity.
Wilson have any magic?
Let's see. Zach Wilson with a bullet. Simon the grab just short of the 40-yard line. 2 timeouts for BYU, more than a minute to go.
2 timeouts. It'll take a touchdown. Plenty of time.
There is stirring confidence in the heart of that 20-year-old Zach Wilson. Throw again for Simon, who crumples down at midfield. Still 2 timeouts remaining. 55 seconds to go. BYU against their rival from here in Honolulu.
Wilson looks very confident. He's obviously run the 2-minute drill a lot in practice, but this isn't practice.
Wilson tucks it. Wilson looking for the sideline. He hurdles to the sideline, and he's gotten a lot of errors so far tonight, whether his coaches want it or not. 38 seconds.
3 plays. He's made 3 quick decisions, 2 throws and 1 run. They have a couple timeouts. As long as he's making quick decisions, they should be okay. Now the question becomes, what happens when Hawaii brings a little bit more pressure?
Will they hear? Thunderous roar. Wilson diverts, and he throws to the sideline. Once again, Micah Simon at the 40. That's a first down, BYU.
Hawaii only bringing 4 and trying to play zone coverage behind it. They haven't felt the need to go to man coverage or bring a 5th rusher yet.
What do you think of that choice?
I think they need a spy who is athletic enough to keep an eye on Wilson.
Bushman working out of the slot, the dangerous tight end. Intercepted! Bushman was the target. Corey Bentley ripped it off, and the Rainbow Warriors are dancing. Island living's real good for Corey Bentley, who's got his 2nd pick of the night.
Watch Wilson's eyes. They never change. They lock completely on to Bushman, and Bentley read them the entire way and jumped in front of Bushman. He's playing zone. He's looking him up. He sees him, and he runs the route for him. That is a tremendous defensive play. In zone coverage, you keep your eyes on the quarterback. He felt for the threat around him, knew it was 89 Bushman. That's a defensive play of the game.
BYU had won 11 of the last 12 against their rival, but Nick Rolovich and this intriguing, burgeoning Hawaii program
That's the end of the football game.
takes care of BYU and wins the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. What a season for this team.
Wow, what a game. What a Christmas Eve game.
Merry Christmas to those celebrating. A wild finish for Quentin Rod and our entire crew. I'm Jason. Stay tuned for the ESPN app and the post-game trophy ceremony. For now, Bucci and Zubin, Sports Center.